We now have images of the new LEGO Lord of the Rings Balrog Book Nook, and this set has really divided the LEGO fan community. There's some people that love it, some people that hate it, some people who are in between, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it has completely divided our family as well. So in this video, we're gonna break down the arguments for the set, against the set, and tell you why some people are in the middle. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So why do people love this set? I'm going to start with the love because I like the positivity rather than starting off with the negativity. And I think there are some people that would say, well, hey, it's Lord of the Rings and it's LEGO, I'm in. And to be honest, that's kind of where I typically am when it comes to Lord of the Rings LEGO. But I think there are more substantive arguments in favor of this set. And here's what they are. The first one is the architectural details on the columns. These are fantastic. I love the use of the Nexonite shields to give you that angularity that matches the dwarven architecture. I also think the Balrog is big, it's imposing, and I think it does a good job of embodying evil. It's standing over Gandalf with the whip, and it embodies that perspective that we see if you're looking at it from behind Gandalf, especially when it's closed. I think it looks fantastic in terms of those little details that show you just what that confrontation is like. And when you look at it again head on, you see that tile that's printed, hopefully printed, not stickered, that says, "You shall not pass." That's a great touch. It's a little bit of a combination of a book nook and one of those dioramas that we've seen in the Star Wars theme over the last couple of years. I think they're no longer doing those, but that kind of quote, it's fantastic. I like seeing that. There's some other really nice details in this set as well, including some of the way that the Balrog is built. I think it's a creative build. I also like, honestly, the value of this relative to other sets. Now, hear me out on this. It's what, $120, $130 US, and it's right around that 10 cents per piece. Now, as LEGO prices keep going up, I see fans complaining more about how much LEGO costs, and that even Creator 3-in-1 sets are going up in cost more than 10 cents per piece. So if you get a licensed set in Lord of the Rings that is right around that 10 cents per piece, I think that's pretty solid. It's, by the way, much better than the Shire was, right, in terms of the cost per piece there. So this does have some solid value. It may not be as good of a value as, say, the Sherlock Holmes Book Nook, which has 5 minifigs, but it's still a solid value. And by the way, the pieces that you get are pretty substantive. Lots of snot bricks, lots of large tiles and larger pieces, and this is not full of a lot of 1x1 plates, 1x1 tiles, round tiles, and things like that. So the argument for this is it does a really good job. It looks good in many ways. It fits the aesthetic of what you're trying to get at with this confrontation between Gandalf and the Balrog. And yeah, LEGO Lord of the Rings, let's go, let's do this. Reaction number 2 is, I hate it. It's terrible, and for every point that I made in the why I love it, there's a counterpoint to being made for why you hate it. I mentioned the columns. You know, the columns might be nice, but the bridge, the architectural details with the bridge, lacking. Khazad-dûm, the bridge of Khazad-dûm is beautiful. It's arched, it's large. This is just a flat, small bridge. There's there's lack of depth. And by the way, how many times have you seen a book nook that has absolutely zero sides or back to it? The flames might look nice with the macaroni tiles, but that's it. And if you look at it head on, you see the back of your bookshelf or the back of the wall. Like, that's not really a book nook, is it? Furthermore, speaking of the flames, you might like the use of macaroni tiles, but if you look at the box, you've got this orange glow that's emanating from somewhere through those tiles that makes it much more of a vibrant orange. That's not reality of the set. There's no light brick with this. Instead, you just get the pieces. And if you put this on your shelf, you're not going to see that vibrancy come to life like you see on the box, which is a little bit deceiving. Oh, by the way, the Balrog, I know I mentioned that for the love, but there are some people that are very critical of how it was executed. The legs and the feet in particular are not just bulky, but they're oddly shaped, or they're a little bit big in terms of proportion to the Balrog. The whip, yeah, it's standing there with a whip. It looks rather flimsy, or it doesn't look like it should when you look at the movie. And maybe even the expression of the Balrog itself is a little bit off, doesn't match what you would expect from a Balrog. And so, yeah, there might be some nice parts usage, and yeah, there's some really cool details, but it's missing a little bit of detail on the execution. And if they did a better job with that, maybe they focused more on the Balrog, instead of making it a Book Nook, you might have a better set. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like there are some valid points to be had there. That maybe Book Nook wasn't the best way of going about a Gandalf versus the Balrog set. Maybe if you just focused on a display and kept it the same cost, but put a little more pieces into the bridge and the Balrog, you get a better view or a better product. I think that's fair. The third argument is, well, there's good and there's bad. You know, the columns are good, but there's some flaws with the execution of the bridge. That the look of the Balrog overall is good, it's imposing, but some of the details are askew. Whatever it is, they appreciate that there is the reality of the positives and the negatives. Now, this reminds me of when I worked at the state legislature here in the United States. For a few years, I would hear a lot of members debating policy and talking about the pros and the cons. And I think one thing that stood out to me is whenever you have these discussions, I had this with a lot of members, and that was, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And I think that's relevant here because we don't get a lot of Lord of the Rings Lego sets. We get an icon set every year, and it looks like we get like a secondary set of brick heads or maybe this Book Nook. And if that's what we get, is that better than nothing? If the option was, okay, you get Lord of the Rings Book Nook or you get nothing at all other than the Shire, I'd rather have the Lord of the Rings Book Nook. I'd rather have the continuation of the theme. And yes, I wish there were more brickheads because we're missing some key characters. And yes, I wish that this was more of a display piece, like a diorama that we've seen in other themes rather than a Book Nook, but they're not doing dioramas right now. And so the option is probably Book Nook or nothing. And if that's the case, I'm taking the Book Nook over nothing. And I understand that there are some flaws to this set, but there are some positives to it as well. And I think the positives outweigh the negatives, such that, you know, I can definitely see us getting this. However, I will note that just like this has divided the Lego fan community, it has very much divided our family as well. When I saw this, I was kind of whelmed, that's the right word, right? By it. I wasn't overwhelmed, I wasn't underwhelmed, but I thought it was okay. But I showed it to my oldest daughter. She's like, you know what, that's not horrible, which is a compliment from her actually, because she's like, I like the Balrog. I think it looks sufficiently evil. It looks imposing. It could be bigger, could be better, but like I like the way they do it. My wife, on the other hand, was like, nope, nope. It's terrible, disappointing. I had high expectations for it, and this did not meet those expectations. And my youngest daughter kind of falls in that line as well. So we kind of run the gamut on this set, just like the Lego fan community. And I think it's fascinating. Again, what does it mean for us getting it? I don't know. I mean, I lean toward getting it, but at the same time, like, we got to pick and choose what we're going to get. And we do like to have these family discussions about what we're going to buy and what we're going to build and where it goes and all those kinds of things. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm kind of curious to see where we end up when it comes to June 1st. And if we go to Lego store, if it ends up in our proverbial shopping cart. Let me know in the comments down below, where do you fit in on this debate? Is this set terrible? Is it good? Is it something that you're like, it's okay, it's good enough to get, but I do wish execution was better? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.